Hello everybody, my name is Scott Judy and today's topic will be 3.3 ETL design. First off, what is ETL? Well, ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. Extract, we want to export the data from the existing system. So we're going to have these different legacy systems, operating systems, and we need to gather all this information and export it out. And then from there, we want to transform it. You need to clean, you need to organize, modify it for how you want to use that data. And then lastly, once you've cleaned and organized and set it how you want it, then you want to load it into the new system so it's going to work properly. It seems like an easy process, but it's actually more work than most people think. Okay. Before we get into the ETL requirements, something else we need to keep in mind is we need to gather the business requirements. We need to envision what the company wants so we can build an appropriate tool and model that suits their needs. So some things that we need to keep in mind are key performance indicators, business issues, decision-making processes, supporting key analytics, and then we need to meet with the different experts in the different areas and investigate data profiling. All this feedback and initial research will help define a clear picture on how to proceed. So some people might just jump into a project, oh, we know how to do this, it worked with another company. That might not be the case. Every company is going to be a little different. So you want to see what that business actually wants. Okay. So once we figure out what the business actually wants, then you can start building the dimensions and the framework for how we're going to put this data into the new system. So last week we talked about the dimension model. We're in an airline company, so we have a bunch of different requirements. This is talked about last week. Both of these pictures here are showing the same thing. It's just broken down. I'm just going to show you the one on the left. The activity fact, you can see there are tons of facts. So we're going to gather all this information. You got the schedule, actual departure, passenger profiles, aircraft information, booking, ticket numbers, flight information. So it's going to be a huge volume of information. And then from there you build your different dimensions. You can see the date, the passenger, aircraft, fare. So this is going to be a large process. So this is going to be kind of our framework on how we want to build this model. Going back to the actual ETL process, this figure here, this has been around for a long time and it works really well to actually go through multiple stages to make sure that information is how you want it. So starting on the left, you have the legacy information, the old systems where you need to extract all that information. Okay, from there you need to transform it and then you load it into the staging area. Okay, once that is done, then you go through the ETL process again, and you can put it into, move that information to the data warehouse. And then one more time, going through the ETL process, you'll then create your different data marts, and then you'll have your end user product. Hopefully everything is working properly, all the errors are out, so hopefully at that point it'll be a seamless process. Now the 10-step modeling process, I'm not going to go too much in detail, just hit up the high points. The first one is draw the high-level plan. So you want to gather that overview to see the big picture of the process, or you always want to get that big process down for all these key aspects, and then you can move forward. As you do that, you want to choose your tools. Also previously, we looked at the different companies and we found IBM was going to suit our needs. They have many different products. I think there are like over 18 different products and counting. And then specifically for the ETL process, they have one for called InfoSphere Data Stage. And then they also have another tool for data profiling. It's InfoSphere Information Analyzer. So I think those will be two good choices for this process. Okay. Moving on to the develop default strategies. for extracting, then archiving the data, policing data quality, managing change attributes, verifying system requirements, designing the data auditing subsystem, and organizing ETL staging areas, setting everything up. Drill down by target table. Start populating each target table in the data warehouse. We want to populate the dimensions table with historic data. Load the historic data into the various tables. Perform the fact table historic load. The historic loading is usually significantly larger than the current production load that's generated daily because, again, it's all historic information has been built up and accumulated over time. It could take days just to go through this process. So it's not something that, you can knock out in a couple hours. I mean, this is a lengthy process, especially going through your historic information. The next step is dimension table incremental processing. System development begins with dimensions tables and is very similar to the historic processing. One of the biggest challenges is identifying new, changed, and deleted rows. So again, this is where you want to modify and clean up and make sure that information is accurate and good to go. Fact table incremental processing. Most data warehouses are just too large to replace in one shot. That's why data needs to be done in chunks to be processed. And this also should be a pretty highly automated to fully automated process. Aggregate table and OLAP loads. These tables are logically easy to build. The problem that comes in the size. This will make it more complex to run and maintain. So again, with a large airline company that we just have tons of information that has been collected and stored over the years, and we need to go through that information to make sure we can use it and model it properly, and then from then on, all this new information coming online will be effective also. And then lastly, ETL system operation and automation. Strive to become as automated as possible. Okay, again, you're shooting for 100% automation. You're still going to have IT personnel for backup and troubleshooting, but the more automation you can build into this process, the more effective, less errors you're going to have, and the faster processing it'll be able to do. Again, you're still going to have IT process, but they're going to have these other tasks and make sure that it is running and working properly. That was the 10-step model. There are some additional topics that we need to cover and discuss. We can do some analysis on database storage, who, what, where. Okay, do we want to keep this database information local on the cloud? Do we want to keep it regional? Do we want to keep it in-house? Do we need to outsource it? So that's some key things that we need to talk about. Same thing with the administration. Who, what, where, when. This is a global company. We need to see what tools are out there, what's going to be most effective for us. And then lastly, data virtualization. Okay, the topic has come up, and I believe with the amount of information being processed, I believe that data virtualization is a must. Okay, what this is going to do is it's going to collect information from all these different sources and provide unified access and data throughout the company. Again, talking about IBM, they have a tool for that, of course. It's called Cloud Pak for Data as an option. Okay, we don't necessarily have to use these products, but it is available, and you can see the figure down at the bottom right, how again you have all these different relational databases, warehouses, all that stuff goes in, and that virtualization, you'll have that unified access and be able to view that information completely. So in conclusion, we defined ETL, extract, transform, and load. And we talked about having those building blocks for the information, seeing what the business actually wants. And then we outlined the 10-step ETL process, highlighted the various tools, and then lastly, there's still some analysis needed on identifying the business requirements, database storage, and administration. that ends this presentation. Have a good day.